Jo Leute, herzlich willkommen zu einem neuen Part Raincode. Ja, wir stehen nun vor einer Wahl, wo war der Täter vor der Tat. Wir müssen nun auswählen, wo er war. Wenn ich das hier so richtig sehe, das hier wird das Labor sein, wo sich der Doktor aufgehalten hat. Das hier ist dieser Plattenraum. Dann der Giftraum, also der Gasraum. Hier dieser Weg mit den Luftschleusen. Und hier der Eingang. Ich würde behaupten, hier drin, weil da ist der einzige Ort, wo er sich verstecken kann. Weil hier kann ich mir nicht vorstellen, da hätten wir ihn gesehen. Also kann es eigentlich nur hier sein, oder nicht?
Here. The culprit must have been here. After the exchange on the intercom, given there was always a detective at the front chamber, when we went to borrow Ama-Pal, the culprit had to have already made their way inside. But the airlock is the only location that isn't affected by the security system. There. The culprit had to be inside that decontamination device before committing the crime.
Na dann gehen wir mal weiter, hä?
But I thought he was just hiding in there to avoid being spotted after the crime. So you think the culprit was in there before the crime too?
Yeah, the culprit was waiting for their chance. But we had no idea when we sent Ama-Pal into the airlock.
And from there, Yuma, you guided Ama-Pal to the doctor's lab. So the culprit entered the doctor's lab before then? How would that be possible? Only Ama-Pal could get past security, right?
Yeah, that's the next big question.
Maybe the culprit used another Ama-Pal unit.
No, the researcher mentioned there was only one functioning Ama-Pal.
Which means the Ama-Pal Yuma controlled was the only one that could get past security.
So the culprit must have taken advantage of Master's Ama-Pal to get into the doctor's lab.
Yeah, that's the only way. But how did they use it? There's no solving the doctor's murder until we figure that out.
Hat sich draufgestellt.
I have an idea. Will you hear me out?
What is it?
How about giving up? I'm getting tired.
Nope, motion denied. Another fork in the road? Such a complicated mystery labyrinth.
Hier hat der Täter Ama-Pal benutzt.
Beyond each problem lies the truth. We're definitely getting closer to the heart of this mystery.
Als Waffe, als Schild. Aber beides nicht.
Do you think neither is really the right answer?
Given the process of elimination, that must be it. Ama-Pal's hands aren't designed to hold anything, so it couldn't use the knife to murder the doctor. Which means Ama-Pal wasn't the murder weapon. And the culprit couldn't have used it as a shield. It can't neutralize the toxic gas, and the high-voltage shock would destroy it.
So then, how did the culprit use Ama-Pal?
I think we'll find out if we continue down this path.
Huh? That was the wrong answer? Come on, Master! Huh?
We've been here before. It looks like we've been brought back.
But the door we opened earlier is closed again. Why's that?
Yeah, I wonder why.
Huh? Even the question is the same. Does that mean we gotta do it all over again?
Well, the logic is still sound. There's no other hiding spot for the culprit besides the airlock.
So you want to choose the same answer and keep going?
If you do, you'll just repeat the whole process again. We'll just be brought back here if we can't figure out how did the culprit use Ama-Pal. And I refuse to walk any more than I have to.
Hey, don't sit down!
What should I do?
Stand up! Stand up right now!
Stop it. Leave me alone.
If you want me to leave you alone, then help my useless master out!
Fine. Just one thing, then. We're back at... where was the culprit before the crime? Because you're stuck at... how did the culprit use Ama-Pal? With that in mind, these two questions are connected.
Connected? Both the culprit's location and how Ama-Pal was used?
Help him out more! More!
The culprit was hiding in the airlock, where you also left the robot, right? At that moment, only the culprit and Ama-Pal were there. So maybe the culprit did something.
The culprit did something to Ama-Pal?
Clues are always there, right under your nose. It's a detective's job to notice them. Did you notice anything strange back then? Any tiny detail? Try to remember.
Something strange. Hey! Now that you mention it, back then...
Oh hey, the screen lit up. So this is what Ama-Pal sees. It's like the cockpit of a mecha.
Whoa, what was that?
Did it break already? I thought it was state-of-the-art!
No, it's alright. It's stabilized. There was a moment when the camera stopped functioning while I was controlling Ama-Pal. It returned to normal pretty quick, but maybe...
See? I told you it was right under your nose. You don't need any additional help from me, right?
That was a clue to help solve this mystery?
Actually, everything in this world is a key to solving mysteries. You just haven't noticed them. Perhaps there is more you're overlooking. Was there anything else unusual?
Something unusual. Something I missed.
Anything else? It's not like Ama-Pal's camera showed the culprit.
Wait, that's it!
Huh?
Now that I think about it, wasn't that strange? The culprit must have gotten ahead of Ama-Pal, but why didn't they ever show up on the camera? If the culprit went past Ama-Pal to enter the doctor's lab, they would have been spotted for sure.
Now that you mention it...
But nobody showed up on camera. How did the culprit manage to pull that off? How can you move from the airlock to the doctor's lab without appearing even once on Ama-Pal's camera?
Hey, aren't you just adding another mystery?
No. All the pieces are here.
Huh?
Yuma, the mysteries you face now can be solved with a single answer.
A single answer?
Sheesh. I talk too much.
Oh, one mystery after another! What'll you do now? It's a Pandora's box of mysteries!
Let's stay calm and think about it. There's plenty of time.
Or not. I'll keep reading while you wrap things up.
Remember what he said, Master. All it takes is one answer to solve these mysteries. Use those weak brain cells of yours and think!
Culprit's location. Ama-Pal's usage. Its malfunction. Why didn't the culprit appear on camera? All this can be solved with just one answer? Got it! The culprit rode on Ama-Pal's head, using it as a method of transportation.
The door opened!
With every open door, it will be harder for you to turn back. Are you sure you want to keep going?
Absolutely! I will find the truth no matter what. This is for the Nocturnal Detective Agency.
Hey, you said the culprit rode on top of Ama-Pal. What did you mean by that?
Literally what I said. The culprit rode Ama-Pal and used it to get through. After we left Ama-Pal in the airlock, the culprit came out of the decontamination device. Then they jumped on Ama-Pal's head. The disruption in the footage was from the impact.
That's insane.
Is it? I think it's fairly reasonable. Ama-Pal can withstand up to 100 kilograms of weight. So, someone riding on it shouldn't affect its functionality.
The shoe print on Ama-Pal's head wasn't caused by someone kicking it. It was left there from the culprit hopping on and off.
After that, the culprit simply rode on it as it moved toward the doctor's lab. By doing so, the culprit was able to evade the camera and remain hidden as they made their way through the lab.
You're right. If it's true, then it does solve all of the previous mysteries. Imagining the culprit riding on a robot makes me laugh!
But Yuma, have you not realized it? You're still missing something. One major mystery remains.
What's with that huge sigh?
The greatest mystery of this case should appear soon. Just the thought of it gets me feeling down.
This case's greatest mystery?
War nebenbei eigentlich nur dumm dahergelabert, dass er auf ihm stand. Von mir.
This is the panel chamber.
That means the doctor's lab is just beyond it. If we can get through here, we'll reach the goal, yeah?
Dann ist der Täter von Ama-Pal abgestiegen.
Is this the greatest mystery you mentioned?
Not exactly what I was envisioning.
Well, this is the mystery to be solved, so let's clear it out.
Beats me.
Das ist eigentlich nicht so schwer, finde ich. Während des Öffnen der Tür. Er hat ja ewig gebraucht zum Öffnen und während Ama-Pal seinen Arm ausstreckt, konnte er ja seinen Kopf nicht mehr umdrehen, ne? Also er konnte nichts anderes mehr machen, außer eben seinen Arm so auszustrecken. Entsprechend konnte der Täter da eben absteigen, ohne gesehen zu werden. Das wäre so meine Antwort dazu.
The culprit murdered the doctor before Ama-Pal entered the room. Which means the culprit had to have gotten ahead of Ama-Pal at some point. It was when the door first opened. At that moment, the culprit snuck into the doctor's room.
Yeah, when the doors were slowly opening, just like this. That's when the culprit took their chance.
Right. The moment there was enough space for a person to slip through, the culprit hopped off and went inside.
Like this?
Hey, Nummer 3, 4, irgendwas in der Art.
We still haven't reached the goal. I thought we could get into the doc's lab now.
Is this a joke to you? Your deduction is full of holes. If this is a joke, it's not very funny.
Master, you know what to do.
Of course.
I'll take your garbage deduction and toss it in the trash. I am the saint of Kanai Ward, protecting it from filth like you! The culprit.
Fubukis Pforte kann die Zeit zurückdrehen. Sie wurde während der Kontrolle von Ama-Pal verwendet. Merkmale der Geisterform wie von Vielen erklärt. Es gibt mehr Einschränkungen. Ama-Pal ist robust und hat viele Funktionen. Die Enden seiner Arme sind aus Sicherheitsgründen kugelförmig. Beim Aus- oder Einfahren eines Arms funktioniert die Bedienelemente für die Kamera und Körper jedoch nicht. Ja, okay.
Then slip through the gap in the door. That's impossible even for Think the Slaughter Artist. Think about it. If Ama-Pal's line of sight changed just a bit, the camera would have caught it. No one would do something so risky.
Ich glaube, ich habe die Antwortmöglichkeit schon verpasst, oder?
must be really lucky. What? Did they use some sort of special power?
Ja, habe ich.
Right.
The culprit Ama-Pal as the door opened. Then slipped through the gap in the door. That's impossible even for Fink the Slaughter Artist. Think about it. If Ama-Pal's line of sight changed just a bit.
I'll slash through this mystery. Ama-Pal is designed so that when its hand is stretched out, it won't execute any other inputs. That's why when it was pressing the button for the door, the culprit didn't show up on the camera.
You little maggots. Don't get so full of yourselves. You're not getting out of here alive.
I get it. So Ama-Pal couldn't move while the door was opening. That's when the culprit took their chance.
Since the door opens outward, it's possible to take advantage of the blind spot it creates. That's how the culprit managed to stay outside the camera's view as they entered the doctor's room.
So it's an elaborate murder that took advantage of Ama-Pal's design, and even the direction the door opens. Whoever planned this must have really wanted the doctor dead. I guess you can call it an obsession. How scary. Just like this passageway. Where will it take us? Perhaps a suite with the culprit's obsession on full display? A room of nightmares?
Knock it off with the weird soliloquies. Let's go.
You're really going?
Huh?
Dieser Gang hier hat er von Horizon, oder?
Hey, Yuma. When the culprit entered the doctor's room while the door was open,
Huh? Yeah?
at the time, the doctor was in the room, right? If the door opened and an intruder entered, how could the doctor not have noticed?
So what if he did notice? It's not a big deal.
Yes, it is. If he had noticed an intruder, the doctor would have turned to face him. Which means he wouldn't have been stabbed in the back.
That piece of trash is right. Your logic is flawed.
Hey, what are you, on the Phantom side now?
Listen to my incredible words of wisdom. Your crappy deduction is worth less than shit! Everything you do is a fucking mistake!
Was für eine Wortwahl er doch pflegt hier.
Damn it! Your deduction is inconsistent. It's full of inconsistencies. By your logic, even if the doctor could be stabbed, it wouldn't be from behind. That's all impossible!
Master!
Yeah.
Ja, keine Ahnung, wo ich da
Your
jetzt...
deduction is inconsistent. It's full of inconsistencies.
Okay, stimmen wir beim
By your
nächsten.
logic, even if the doctor could be stabbed, it wouldn't be from behind.
That claim doesn't hold up.
Okay, scheint richtig zu sein.
No, the culprit did stab the doctor in the back. That's how the body was discovered.
That's why I'm saying your deduction is inconsistent. By your logic, the doctor couldn't have been murdered in that way!
Alter, 4 Antwortmöglichkeiten.
The culprit.
Eine Notiz wurde, das auf den Schreibtisch des Doktors gefallen wurde, das ist eine Zeichnung einer Person, okay. Ein Grund ist das der Brust, ja. Genau, das wäre die Möglichkeit, oder? Er hätte es einfach nicht hören können, weil er schwerhörig ist. Wählen wir das
Brick
aus.
quickly entered the lab. But the doctor was in the room at the time, right? There's no way you missed an intruder. Running is noisy. So Wesker would have heard and turned to face the culprit. And his chest would have been stabbed, not his back. Unless you think the doctor was asleep. Is there any trace of him being drugged?
Okay, ich glaube, ich hätte die Möglichkeit schon gehabt, zu beantworten. Also, einen Gegenbeweis zu machen. Mehr hätte ich nicht, okay.
Wait, the doctor had trouble hearing. That's why he didn't notice the intruder.
Now you're spouting nonsense. Say whatever you want, it won't save you. There's a gaping hole in your logic, and there's no way you're gonna fill it at this rate. Because you, more than anyone else, you're the one refusing to see the truth right before your eyes.
What? I refuse to see the truth? Vivius said the same thing, but...
It's strange, don't you think? Isn't it about time you noticed that something's off here?
Huh?
You've solved many mysteries up to now, yet none of them are directly connected to the culprit's identity.
That's because the culprit is the hitman.
If that's the case, why haven't you reaped the hitman's soul? And that would end the labyrinth.
It's not that easy. The culprit will fight back, unless we solve all the mysteries first. Hang on. What are you getting at?
In my eyes, the reason a single mystery hasn't been directly connected to the culprit is because of Yuma's reluctance. It's pushing away the mysteries that lead to the culprit.
Huh?
Subconsciously, you're closing your eyes to the truth. That's why you haven't touched on the hole in your reasoning.
What hole?
Whatever, that's enough. Just ignore this guy and keep going.
Hey!
Yuma. Yuma.
Jeez, go away!
You know what I'm talking about, don't you? The huge hole in this investigation.
What are you...
Just ignore him.
let's review your deduction, shall we? The culprit took advantage of Ama-Pal's locked position and entered the lab. And before the robot entered the room, that person stabbed the doctor from behind. However, they bumped into Ama-Pal while escaping, causing it to fall over. That was obviously a mistake, but since it wasn't captured on video, they were able to avoid detection. After that, the culprit went inside the decontamination device in the airlock to hide from you.
That's correct. So what's the hole in my deduction?
It's before all of that. It remains the case's greatest mystery.
Which is?
How did the culprit get past security?
What?
We already told you that. The culprit rode on top of Ama-Pal as Master controlled it and was taken all the way to the doctor's lab.
But if someone was riding on it, how did they get past the high-voltage shocks in the panel chamber?
Oh.
This is the end for you! You have nowhere left to go!
Oh, come on! Why now?
I won't let you maggots ruin the peace of Kanai Ward! As the king of Amaterasu Corporation and the guardian of Kanai Ward, I will stop you here and now!
Perhaps this, too, is an obsession. Why does he insist on covering up the truth? Tell me, what will you do, Yuma? Are you going to stay willfully blind?
No, I'll fight. Whether it's subconscious or not, I won't look away from the truth. I'll find the truth no matter what. This is for the Chief and everyone at the Nocturnal Detective Agency.
Good luck! You'll never find it. You'll scurry around this labyrinth forever, like blind mice. You'll rot away, looking for an answer that will never come!
Ich würde mich ja gerne mal wieder selber bewegen können, damit ich auch mal speichern kann, ne? Weil ich jetzt seit fast 2 Parts nicht mehr gemacht habe.
Keep playing.
Ja, merkbare Reiserform, Sicherheitsprotokoll, Aufzeichnungen zeigen, dass das Sicherheitssystem vor einer Stunde deaktiviert wurde. Das letzte Mal wurde vor 90 Tagen deaktiviert. Es gibt 9 Platten in einem 3x3-Schema. Man muss in einer bestimmten Reihenfolge auf sie treten. Ja. Und Fubukis Pforte. Ja.
With your shit deductions. You still haven't solved the greatest mystery. How did the culprit get past the security? The critical lab security system was always live.
Was?
Say,
How did the culprit get past the security? The critical lab security system
it was always live.
no way to reach the doctor. The panel chamber shocks
Would have fried the culprit. That security system?
no human can breach it.
I'll slash through this mystery. human could get past the panel chamber by using Fubuki's forte. In fact, that's how we got past the panels. The high-voltage shocks kept destroying Ama-Pal. But we reversed time every time that happened.
Correct. So whenever it was struck by the current, you went back in time. But while that was occurring, the culprit, a human, was riding on top of Ama-Pal. That person was burnt to a crisp every time you failed.
But...
Which means you killed the culprit over and over again.
Vivia...
If only you had chosen to remain ignorant, I would have walked beside you in silence. But if you intend to seek the truth, then I must stand in your way.
What are you doing? Why are you doing this?
He's going to betray you, Master.
Betray me?
It's up to you, Yuma. This is your final chance to save the world you believe in. What are you going to do? It's time to decide your past and your future.
Why, Vivia?
Leute, wir machen hier einen Cut. Das war's mit Raincoat für heute. Wenn euch das Video gefallen sollte, lasst doch gerne mal Feedback da. Positiv oder negativ, bleibt euch überlassen. Gerne mit einer kleinen Begründung, was euch gefallen hat, was nicht. Und ja, wir freuen uns, wenn ihr beim nächsten Mal wieder dabei sein werdet. Wenn wir uns anscheinend gegen Vivia stellen. Okay. Bis dahin. Ciao, ciao, Leute.